I mean, I'm kind of the alternative marketing. I don't know of how it's worked so far. I mean, it's worked enough where I've gotten to meet people like you and, gotten out there and done some really cool stuff that we'll talk about. But I haven't really done the traditional marketing. And
Are so unique. Like, I don't think I know of any other author who's put on an actual show when it
yeah.
comes to their book. Like, you're going into the bookstore and you're putting on these wild, crazy shows for people and just kind of getting the audience excited to read your book. And
Great. I don't know about how they've driven my sales, but I have met another one. I got a podcast interview out of it. Like I've met people. It's been good for net. Look, compared to when I started, I'm like so much more ahead, and I've just written one book. So we ended up doing this really weird where I started the songs, then I gave it to one other guy. He interpreted it on drums and made a song on drums, and then the other guy
Mhm.
took it and made the music, and it's been this magical thing. So I decided we started playing. I did one band show with it at a if you
I think
extreme
it's great.
you talk about that in music, like if you can get extreme reactions, if people don't hate you, then you're probably not doing it right.
Do you dream of adding your very own book to the collection of books that have already been written? Do you wonder where to start or how to finish? Does the idea of writing a book seem too overwhelming? Do you just want to polish up those writing skills or stay motivated? Do you wonder what to write about? Everything you need to help you write, stay motivated, and self-publish your own book is right here on one channel. And why? Well, because it's time to get over the writer's hump and just do it. You can write anything. Yep, you can write a book.
Hello and welcome to a book. Guess what? It's another great episode day. I have one of your favorite guests back with me today. Eric Finkel is with us. He's the author
Or
of,
can I just say,
yeah,
am I
yeah.
am I the first returning guest of your show?
No, actually, Daniel,
What?
you are the
No!
second one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're the
Oh
second
my
one.
God. I thought
Yeah,
we had this,
you were
thought we
my
were
first
there.
guest, but you are now the second returning guest. I
All
don't know
right.
what's going
Well,
on, man.
you
I'm
all right?
losing my voice. You're going to have to carry us today. Anyway, everybody, welcome. We're going to have some fun with Daniel today. He's the author of Mr. Taffle Pants,
Mr. Taffle's Pants of
Mr.
Insanity.
Taffle's Pants of
This rolls
Insanity.
off the
Well,
tongue.
you got me saying a mouthful there. I'm
Oh, I
telling you
know.
what.
I had a band called the Warlords of Rock and Roll Thunder and Lightning. So I'm used to ridiculously long names.
Long names, but it's a good
Yeah.
one. It's a good one and it fits. Daniel, welcome. Hey, I'm thrilled because one of the things I've been doing is following you. Well, sort of following you. I've been spying on you, and you are doing some pretty amazing stuff when it comes to getting the word about your book out there. Fun stuff, stuff nobody
Thanks.
else is
Yeah.
doing. And I said, all right, Daniel's got to be back on, and he's going to talk to our
Yeah.
audience today about marketing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of the alternative marketing. I don't know of how it's worked so far. I mean, it's worked enough where I've gotten to meet people like you and, gotten out there and done some really cool stuff that we'll talk about. But I haven't really done the traditional marketing, and I wish kind of I mixed that in now a little
Yeah.
bit more as I've learned about this business.
Oh
But
man, there is so much to learn. It's never ending. I mean,
yeah, it's
you could
daunting.
just sit and market your book for days on end, and that's all you'd be doing, right? But the things that you have done are so unique. Like, I don't think I know of any other author who's put on an actual show when it
Yeah.
comes to their book. Like, you're going into the bookstore and you're putting on these wild, crazy shows for people and just kind of getting the audience excited to read your book. And it's a great book. I've read it. It's fantastic. It's wonderful. So tell me a little about that.
Yeah, I just want to state at the first thing that this wasn't like a grand plan. I had like little plans about, things. It's grown
Really?
naturally. So it's not like was like this schemer of like, and then I'll do this, and then, it's kind of come to me in a weird way. But it all kind of relates to the past. I've been in some musical acts. Not that I can really sing that well or even rap that well, but I've just had an amazing journey where I was just friends with incredible musicians. And because I love music so much and I'm just very creative, I was able to do these like performance art kind of bands that, the first one I was like more of a sidekick, but we were like, we'd play Burning Man and it was right before YouTube like really blew up, so it wasn't like we or Facebook. It was right that I don't know what year, like probably like 2004, 2005. So, but we did a lot of crazy stuff. And so I guess it was like I said, it was just things falling into place, which you hear about these stories. It's not, there's just like circumstances that
Right,
make it
right.
happen. So yeah, I was basically going to Portland to live with one of my buddies for 6 months during the pandemic because I was going crazy in Los
Oh
Angeles.
man.
I was by myself, I was like, I gotta get out of here. Um, so I put my stuff in storage, went to Portland, lived in his guest room, and I ended up staying there 6 months. But he's a musician, Jerry Curl. He was in this band called the Original Booty Burglars. He's
Oh,
now in this band called the Trippy Lips. He's this really wild, funny, amazing guy. So he had like a rehearsal space for his band there. So I was kind of like, because I did this rap thing where I was sort of I rapped about some of my screenplays. I was like, maybe I should write a rap about the book. And he's like, we're doing it. So it was kind of a lot on him. I'm like, and I didn't really have many friends in Portland or know anyone that well. So I had a lot of time to myself.
oh,
So
cool.
I ended up writing these raps for the book.
Oh,
That's how
wow.
it all started. And then we made an
Yeah.
EP, we recorded it. And another friend just happened to live in Oregon that was like Marcus Junkin was like just this amazing producer that I didn't even know he was like a musician producer. I knew he was a good, great musician, but I didn't know he was like had done hip hop and stuff. So we ended up doing this really weird where I started the songs, then I gave it to one other guy. He interpreted it on drums and made a song on drums, and then the other guy
Mhm.
took it and made the music, and it's been this magical thing. So I decided we started playing. I did one band show with it at a just to launch it at a friend's. We did this yearly thing in Montana. It was in Montana that year. And then I did a small festival where I also performed it karaoke style. So basically I took the my lead tracks out of the music. So I
Wow.
just go and I kind of do this thing and it's like an act. And then it eventually I did it at some bookstores around LA and stuff. And eventually, when I was releasing the audiobook, the narrator of the audiobook, who's this guy, Tommy Toretta, who's really funny. I was with him last
He
night.
he was great. He's great.
Yeah, he's a genius, comedy genius. So he does some readings of the book, and this other group of actors um basically did pantomime, like four actors. They did like amazing pantomime to the book. There was visuals by my friend Bradley Dumovic and sound like crazy like intro. So like I had just a bunch of artists that I was friends with working. We did this huge show. So I guess the biggest news about that is that I'm talking to this very prominent author in San Francisco that I got to meet through a friend, and he saw what I was doing, and I asked him, because I wanted to play the show in San Francisco, but so now we're talking about doing a dual show.
Isn't
He's
that
going to
crazy?
something, and he's amazing. Like he's Paul Madonna his name, and he did this for 12 years. I think it was called All Over Coffee or something like that. It was like in the
Wow.
12 years in the Examiner, I think up there, if I'm mistaken, but close. Uh,
Wow.
so yeah, so I think I'm going to be doing a show with him sometime. We're going to talk maybe next week.
It's just amazing, isn't it? How like one thing just leads to another. But you have a lot of artist friends in your life. You have a lot of people in your life. You're surrounded by people who they're not afraid to get out there and have fun. Just have fun with it.
Yeah, I've had an interesting little journey. I mean, as we get older, everyone kind of disappears, but um, I still see him out there, because I'm not married with kids. Life's a little different than most
Mm.
people. It's just a different.
Yeah. Do we need to put a plug in right now for you? Do we need to start like dating swap site or something like that for
I
Daniel?
don't think as much as I would love to meet that woman that's not there right now, I do have to admit that like a lot of the things I'm getting done is like because it's all for me. And like I know that's terrible, but like I want this so bad, I want to break through
Yeah.
this so
Yeah.
bad, like everyone does, and be fully being able to make a living creatively. Like I've had it as well. I've had that for years at certain points in my life where I was just
So
writing for.
this is your focus. This is it. Just getting the book out there and being
Well,
creative
it's
and
just the
yeah.
whole thing. It's not just this book. It's like my screenplays, and it's the next book, and and because the books are all being written from screenplay adaptations, because it's like I've worked on these screenplays, why not just use those as the,
Did I
like,
see, tell me if I'm wrong here, but did I see that you're writing screenplays for people or teaching people to write screenplays? Which was it?
no, I was just there was I'm basically, you can hire me to help you ghostwrite your
Okay, to help
screenplay.
ghostwrite.
Or or
Okay.
just
All right.
yeah. So I've just put my
So
hire just to.
I've never written a screenplay. I don't know how to do that. What would be like, I don't know, what would be something I need to know to write a screenplay?
It's like everything. You should just read screenplays.
Yeah,
Just
where do
see.
who reads
You can find
those?
them. Well, I'm saying if you really wanted to be, that was what I'd recommend, is to read a bunch of them that you like of movies and see how they wrote them.
See how
Just
they're
what they
written
did, and
and
then you just kind
follow.
of
Yeah.
follow their structure. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's
That's
a. I
interesting.
mean, it's different. It's like sprinting and running a mile. The book is like running the mile, and like the screenplay is more like
Like,
a 200-yard dash.
okay. All right. I'm
That's
going
my
to trust
sports
you.
analogy.
I'm going to trust you on that. All
Yeah,
right.
that's how
So,
I. Yeah,
so you're getting your book out to like you went to the bookstore, you're doing some of this fun stuff, putting on these little, I call them micro shows because it's not like it's a full movie or anything like that, but they're fun. I've seen some of this that you posted on your social media and it's
yeah,
kind of cool. I love it. I see the snippets are just I want to be there. There's so much energy and I think your audience gets involved and it just looks like a lot of fun. But what else are you doing? What else are you doing to get your book known and get it out there?
yeah. So, that guy you're talking about, basically, my friend Jeremiah Alexis is another friend of mine that's super talented, and he's been at kind of the forefront of some of that AI animation stuff. So, for a guy like me that can't afford to have a real animator make stuff, the fact that he just made these little clips for me that like are
So
incredible,
cool. Yeah, they
and
are.
merged with the music. So the whole thing, like I said, it's like I talked to him one day. He was doing that. I said, "Hey, I got this thing." It wasn't like I was like, "I'm going to do this." It just was like, "Okay, let's try it." And then they turned out really great. I'm not a TikToker. I tried to get on there, but I put a lot of those on TikTok, and I put a little bit of money into it, like a couple $100 here and there, and I got a ton of views, like hundreds.
Wow. Cool,
Yeah,
cool,
so it's
cool.
like all these
A
people.
ton, huh?
It didn't necessarily get to huge sales, because it's like I can't target the audience, but just to know that many people like saw like my book, like this trailer, this psychedelic trailer, it's like,
You gonna turn that into a screenplay?
I mean, I want to turn it back. It was
Yeah,
originally a screenplay.
yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Yeah. I
So what do
mean,
you
for
think?
sure. For sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just a big budget movie, so it's like one of
it
those that
is.
I wanted it to be a cult hit before I even really like put my mind around like
Uh,
down that direction, because of it needs to have someone fall in love with it that's like a visual genius, that's way beyond my
you
my
definitely have a way of getting people at least interested in taking a look at the book. The cover itself, which we're going to share later on, is so visually appealing that it makes you want to read the book. You just
thank
got to
you.
crack it open. And who comes up with a title like that? I always say there's two things that sell, titles and covers. And you've got them both right there. It's the whole package. So for sure, people are going to want to crack that thing open. Let's talk for just a minute about groups. So many of my authors belong to groups, whether it's a Facebook group or a local community group or something, someplace where they're in a group where other people are sharing their work and I know you are. That's how you and I met, is in an authors group, I think.
Yeah.
How important has that been in terms of actually selling your books? Because marketing, finding venues to market is one thing, but if they don't convert to sales, so tell me how much have
Yeah.
those really helped you?
I mean, I haven't sold a ton of books or audiobooks. I've more than I would have, for sure, but I'm not making money at all. Like right now, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like everything is worth it to get out there and have your energy out there. Obviously, for all authors, it's hard to read there's readers and then there's authors, like because
Right.
when you're writing so much, it's hard to read,
No
like
kidding. No kidding.
so
Yeah.
that's why I'm like going so slow and like, then you get because but it's weird. I love reading. That's the crazy thing is it's reading is joy. There's just so many distractions to get a book and just zone everyone out. You have to almost schedule it in your day, which I do sometimes. Show up early to
Wow.
place to read. So I will say that, but I am very like I feel very grateful for some of the people I've met. When I basically I went to this one. I have all my awards right here. The Chanticleer books, uh,
Oh,
where I was a first place award winner there, which was
way
awesome.
to
So I
go.
went
That
up
is that
there.
is so cool. So proud of you. That's cool.
Thank you. So yeah, it was a great thrill. So I got to go into Bellingham, Washington, to this like it was like a writing conference. They take classes and stuff as well. And I was definitely on the younger side of the authors there, but I
Really.
had yeah, there but I met some incredible people like just in me, and
Fun.
that was like such a to be able to say I was like now my wacky stuff. I'm like in this community of these genius writers. Like it made me just be like it was so something I'd never expected.
Oh,
And
nice.
so just from like a life, not even like a success, just for like a life event, that was like a big life event almost. Cause I was like,
Wow.
also I wrapped the show there.
Oh, did you?
But a lot of people had left already, but it was funny. It was like a lot of older people and it was very loud. And I was deliberately like, all right, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go big. I kind of go big with the performance. It's like the book. You can't just half step it, you have to like
Wow.
fully commit or it doesn't work. So the show is like a big, I really get in your face and, it's,
Nice.
and like I keep like the sound effects and it's really trippy. Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, I was up there and I met some great authors. I just read this guy Robert Smith's book, Running with Cannibals, and it was so great. And you're just like, man, I'm friends with this guy now. Like it's cool. Like so. But anyway, so those groups have been great. I don't know about how they've driven my sales, but I have met another one. I got a podcast interview out of it. Like I've met people. It's been good for net look, compared to when I started, I'm like so much more ahead and I've just written one book. That's how I look. I can't.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
just
I feel
it's
very grateful for
I
that,
think
because it's
that's the
hard.
thing that for me personally has been the best part of all of this. Like I never wrote to make money. Like I wasn't going to be this rich author. That wasn't my goal, was to make a ton of money. Would it be nice? You betcha. Who doesn't want that to happen? Of course
Yeah.
I want that to happen. But that wasn't my goal. But along the way, some things happened that I never expected, and they've been so precious to me. And that is meeting people like you and just fantastic people and just having fun. And when somebody does read the book and they give you that feedback, oh man, it feels so
Yeah.
good, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It was because when I wrote the first draft, I said I did not get like some great review. You know what I mean? People were like, I had some people that were like, no, dude, I don't know. But they were right. So like I didn't know that it was going to be well received or not. Really. I was like, I
Yeah.
think this is funny, so screw it. I love it.
As
Like
long
if I
as you have
love it,
fun.
that's
Yeah.
how eventually I was like, I've worked long enough on this. Like I like it. Who cares? I just got to send it out. And that's how I just continue to do all my projects like that. If I feel passionate about it, that's where you got to start. Obviously, if you think something will be people will like more than the other and you love both of them, you do that, but like because you want to be as well. No one wants to have no one read their book.
Well, of course, yeah. So
Right.
here's my take on groups. I think they're valuable. I do. How many people sell a lot of books in the group because of the group? I don't know, but I think that there is some great information that you get from connecting yourself with other writers, especially people who write in your genre, and you can connect with them and learn from them, make lifelong friends with them.
For
There's
sure.
there's a lot that comes out of that, and so I'm always encouraging people to go ahead and even if you don't sell something directly in that group, What you are going to learn is a marketing tip, maybe from somebody else, somebody who said, hey, this is what I did and it helped drive sales to my books. And then you have an opportunity to try that, something you might not have thought of, but because you're in this group and you're connecting with people, yeah, ideas start to come, right?
Yeah, no, there's no harm in it at all. You can only
Yeah.
be positive. You
So
should try to
I
be
have
involved as much as possible. Yeah.
I
So
haven't done this. I don't know if you have. Have you paid for like Facebook ads or anything like that for your book? I haven't done it. I'm not sure what the conversion
that's
would be on that.
yeah, I ended up not doing that. I've like I said, I put money into the TikTok thing. Uh yeah, I never did the Amazon ads or the Facebook ads. I just kept putting my resources into different stuff. There's just so much I could do, like financially.
Yeah, yeah. And
So like
that's
doing
the
all
other
this,
thing. Right. Authors can spend a fortune trying to market their books and not get the return back on it. So I always tell people, look for places where you're going to put your money where you're going to be able to spread that, spread it around, spread that message around. So if you're putting it all just in one little spot, let's say posters, like I've got a poster behind me of one of the books that I did, and I spent a little bit of money getting that poster made. Well, it's only good if I go out to a book signing or something like that with that one specific book. I may have been better off putting my money somewhere else where more people would get to see that. Does that make sense?
yes, for sure. And
Yeah.
something about that just reminded me of the fact that I feel like a lot of authors don't take enough time to like market their books actually. They're just constantly writing these series and they're just cranking stuff out and it's like how do you gotta like work, it's like a band, it's an album. You gotta like get out there and play some shows. That's kind of how the whole thing started with my performance. It's like,
I read something and it made so much sense to me. People will be more interested in buying your book if they've heard a chapter or two from your book.
yeah,
And I thought about that. And I thought, well, that's really true. So I used to drive truck with my husband, and he listens to audiobooks while he drives truck, about 100 a year at least. I mean, he's listening to two or three a week. He's always at least 100 books a year that he listens to. I don't necessarily do that, but sometimes I'd wake up and I would hear a book of his, right, playing, and I would get interested. And I'm like, hey, what's that about? And then I would want to read it myself. And so when I read this article and it was talking about piquing people's interest by giving away a free chapter, you can do that. You can drip that book out in chapters and give away a chapter, leave it on a cliffhanger, those types of things. It gets people a little bit more interested in the book. And I don't know if you know this or not, but whoops, whoa, I'm losing you,
whoa,
Daniel.
whoa,
So yeah. So you know what? My
dizzy. You got me
feet,
dizzy.
my feet are
Woo!
tangled up here in my
Goodness gracious,
my feet
earthquake.
are tangled up in my cords there. All right, are we back? Yeah, we're here.
Yeah.
So what was I saying? Oh, yeah. I don't know if you know this, but we started reading some of the books on on this podcast show. I
Oh, cool.
just read one of Pam Torrens' books, Stable. We read a couple of chapters there. Well, here's the thing. I read this and now I'm sucked in and I can't
Yeah,
I can't put the thing down. And so of course I'm like you, I don't have a lot of time to read, but I can't wait to get to it and finish. It's a really good book.
cool.
But so what I know is it stimulates part of the brain that piques people's curiosity and they're like, well, you can't just leave me. It's kind of like ever sit down to watch a movie and you get about three-quarters of the way and then somebody calls you and you never get back to the movie and all you keep thinking is how did that end, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of marketing, one of the things that I'm seeing more and more authors do is they're dripping out a chapter or two of their book and they're leaving people curious. Have you tried doing some of that?
No, I mean, no, I probably should. Probably should chop up the audiobook more. There's definitely more I can do. I'm going to continue to market it until the next book's out. You know what I mean?
Are you working on the next book?
Yeah, no, I this is not an April Fool's joke. I know we're not doing this in April Fool's, but we're recording this in April Fool's. I am pretty much with a couple days just busy work done with the first draft.
No kidding.
Yes.
No kidding.
I've been working on it every day for about 2 months.
Are you
So
willing to tell us what the book's about?
I don't know if I should divulge too much, but it's a sci-fi comedy.
Another one?
Yeah, it's another one. The the humor is just a continuation, but it's a more of an adult humor.
Gotcha.
Not that it is dirty, but it's not it just is because it's the characters are, and it's I get too excited when I finish something, so I can't say, but like, of course, I'm on cloud nine right now. It just
Oh
felt like
man,
everything was
yeah.
clicking in such a magical
So
way.
you're gonna let us have you back on when that's done so we can roll that out for you, right?
Oh my goodness, yes. But
Yeah.
as
You'll let
much
me
as
know.
I will self-publish it, but I am gonna try to get a publisher or some sort of partner because, I'm gonna make a big attempt because that's why I'm trying to establish what I'm doing. Because if I had someone behind it with a little bit of money and marketing, I could really,
Yeah,
you
because
know,
certain marketing does take a lot of funding. It can take a
yeah,
lot of funding. So it's all about putting your money where you're gonna get the biggest bang for it. That's what I think. But let's talk about that a little bit more. I want to talk a little bit more about marketing. So you've done some of these shows, you've got some great visual stuff going on. Obviously, podcasts like this. I know you've been on some other interviews. Everybody wants to talk to you. Everybody wants to
not
talk to you.
everyone, no, not
And
everyone.
everybody wants, trust
I've
me, everybody wants to talk to you. You have a great book, you've got a great sense of humor, great personality. Everybody wants to talk to Daniel.
Stop. Say more. I
Listen.
love it.
So, but there are, I'll give you an example. Victory Vision Publishing sponsors this channel, right? And
Right.
so they do some things like they put their books on their website. They've got traffic that actually goes to their website. So when people are looking for a good read, they're going to go over there, and the books that they've helped publish for people are on that website. So there are other things, you can connect yourself with as long as they're not scams. I'm going to preface that because there are a lot of scams out there. There are people out there, pay me X amount of dollars, and they're usually big dollars, usually within the tens of thousands of dollars, and we're going to get your book all over the place. And that, don't trust those places. So, but if you get yourself with the right people, right, and get them up on different websites, do some of that, authors' websites, as long as you're driving traffic to them, there's just a whole host of things that people can do to get their book seen, but it's work. It's work. What I do like about Victory Vision is they do that work for you. They'll do a lot of that. They'll take away some of that, not all of it. I mean, you're still going to have to promote your book. Every author is. I don't care what publishing route you go. Every author has to do some promoting of their own book, but they'll at least get them out to all of the platforms and the places that you want them to be, so that it makes that promoting a whole lot easier. You've already got the links, you've got everything in place. So all you have to do is just get out there and be seen. But hey, on that note, I'm going to take a break for just a second, and then so give me just a minute, and we're going to be back. I want to hear from Victory Vision Publishing.
Hey everyone, are you stuck trying to figure out how to finish writing or publishing your book? Well, let me tell you about Victory Vision Publishing. Victory Vision Publishing is there to help you cross that finish line. They have package plans that are tailor-made just for your individual needs. They have learning opportunities where you can discover ways of overcoming some obstacles that you might have. Adam Fleming is a wonderful CEO, and they are a fully staffed team just waiting to help you edit, layout, maybe make a cover for your book. Go ahead and join their email list and check out some of the wonderful books and wonderful authors that they have already helped get published. Yep, Victory Vision is definitely the way to go if you feel stuck and just want some support in getting your book out to the world. You're only one book away from changing the world. victoryvision.org.
Okay, we are back, and you just heard from Victory Vision
That was
Publishing.
quick. They
That
were
was
fast.
quick. Yeah, they're
My
fast. All
God.
right.
Woo!
Yeah,
Dad joke. Dad joke.
they do a really good job. They really do. So anyway, yeah, for any of your publishing needs, you can always go on over there and they'll help you. They're great. Do a really good job. You might even know Adam Fleming. Adam Fleming is in the same fantasy sci-fi group that you and I are in, and he's the CEO and all of Victory Vision. He was on the show. Let's see. I lied to you, Daniel. You were my third returning guest. I forgot Adam's been on the show
I just
twice.
keep
Oh
slipping down the
man, I'm
ladder. Like,
telling
what's
you,
going to
just
happen by the
I
end of
just
this?
I happened to glance up at my calendar and realized, oh, wait a minute. Adam
Oh,
Fleming from Victory Vision was on. But yeah,
Adam,
so
Adam F. You overtook me, buddy.
yes, he did. So, but okay, so we were talking about, hey, let's talk about podcasts for a minute. This show, for example, in
Yeah.
fact, if there's any authors out there that are interested in getting their book known, you can always get a hold of me, and we'll see what we can do to get you on this podcast. Podcasts are great, and the reason I think podcasts, video shows, anything like that is so good is because when this is over, you get the link to this YouTube channel. It stays on YouTube indefinitely. So it's not like your book's going anywhere. It's not like you went to the bookstore, you did a signing, few people showed up, and some of them thought, well, maybe I'll buy the book next week. And then next week comes along, they forgot all about you. But when you have a YouTube channel, it's on there, or a YouTube podcast show, it's on there indefinitely. Now, when we're done, you can take that link, you can put it on your Instagram, you can put it on your Facebook, you can put it on your author's page, on your own website, wherever you want, right? And it stays there indefinitely. So I always tell people, if you can get on a podcast, it's hard. It's hard for authors to be seen. So when you have a chance to be seen, do it, because your audience, your potential reader, I should say, is going to feel like, well, you said it. You went to this little conference thing and you got to meet somebody whose book you read, and you felt like, hey, I know the author, right? I know
Yeah,
the
for
author.
sure.
So when people
Absolutely.
get to hear from the author, they feel like they know them. They feel a little bit more connected, makes them want to read the book more. And
Yeah,
I'll tell you, the whole reason I read your book is because I saw you in a video talking about your book.
that's right.
That's
That's
what
right.
made me want to read it. And I think that's what makes most people want to read it. We just
There's so
it's too
many
easy
books
to
out there.
walk. It's too
Like,
easy to walk into a bookstore and see 100 books on a shelf, and I get overwhelmed, and then I don't know which one to pick. And so
yeah.
I'm going to go for the book where I know something about the author or the story. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you a chance to tell us again, just in case somebody missed the last time you were on here. Tell us a little bit about the book, your book that you have out right now.
Oh, this book, Mr. Taffle's Pants of Insanity. Oh,
Yeah,
by the way, I'm wearing the t-shirt. Always got to wear
love
the
it. Love
t-shirts.
it.
I've got a
Yes.
couple. I got one for the audiobook too. I Those aren't as good. The regular book cover is definitely the
Yeah,
one.
it is.
Well, where to begin? Well, this book was an adaptation of a screenplay that I tried to get made, or was there was a hot new director that had a lot of connections, was trying to get it made at that time. This was again in the earlier 2000s ish when it was really, I don't remember the exact date. And we had actors attached, and it was kind of more like it was more in the something about Mary kind of humor, which was weird. It was a little more like raunchy because that at that time raunchy comedy. So it was like this really trippy raunchy comedy about this called Stan Taffle's Leather Pants. About this guy that gets leather pants, and just because they change his image, he kind of acts as a key into this weird world.
Mhm.
And then it never went anywhere. It was almost it was at New Line for a month before they said no, kind of thing. It was crazy. So a lot of people, involved at times, but never could be made. And then, I kind of lost touch with those guys. We didn't end up doing any more business. So it was like the script was nothing. And then I had another connection into Disney, not Disney, but a producer on the Disney lot who had a deal with Disney that was a big producer. So I had this idea. I was like, I'm going to turn Stan Taffle's Leather Pants into Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. I know the story has nothing to do with it, but I'm just going to make it Mr. Toad, and it's going to be like his adventure. I'm going to turn it, and like it'll be like a lot. They did the version of Fantasia with Nicolas Cage. I forget what it was called again, where they did kind of the Sword and the Sorcerer, that story, where Mickey in Fantasia, it's Mickey with the brooms. So they did this. So I was like, so I had this. So I just wrote it and got it to the guy, and I had a meeting with this big Hollywood producer. Like it was just in the hills, and like I was delayed. I was supposed to meet him at his office, but he couldn't get to me, so he's like, "Meet me at my house after work."
Oh,
You know?
nice.
So I'd been waiting all day to meet with this guy to pitch him. Like he had read the script, but he wanted me to like talk to him because he was mad about it. He was angry,
Oh no.
like angry. Why would he? I don't even know him. So I got up to this big Hollywood thing, and he's sweaty because he just did a little workout before he came. It was like I've been waiting. He saw me drive up in my like crappy car, like so
You're painting a good
yeah.
picture here.
It was just so like, and so he gets me in there, and I'm just like, I don't know. I just trying to pitch him this like what I'm gonna, and he's like, your writing's like Michael Jordan, but you don't pass the ball.
Oh man. What does that
I'm
even
like, wait,
mean?
I know. I'm like Michael Jordan. I mean, I feel like this is out of one of those Hollywood parody movies, right?
Oh my gosh.
I never hear from them again. And then like maybe like I don't know, 3 weeks later after that, I get this call from one of my writer friends who knew about this whole thing. But he's like, "Congratulations." I'm like, "What do you mean? Congratulations?" And he's basically like, yeah, they're making Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, dude. Like he thought I
Oh,
was involved, and it turns out they decided because they have an option on every ride. So they
oh,
decided that they were going to make that movie all of a sudden because he thought it was a great idea, and so he didn't
that's
use my script,
crazy.
but he thought it was a great idea. And so they had the director that did like something to do with the Yellow Submarine video game, or I don't know, something with the guitar, did a lot of the Beatles rock band guitar. He was like the director. They never made it, but so and no one would call me back. I was just
Nobody.
totally ghosted. So I had
Yeah.
this thing that no one read, and I had spun it into such like a fantasy world. So when I decided to write my first book, I was like, I want to, everyone wants another Alice in Wonderland or Willy Wonka. That's what
Yeah.
we all do. We're like anyone, especially that was like grew up with those
And
movies.
I'm going to stop you because that is exactly how I would have described this book. It was like this cross between Willy Wonka meets Alice in Wonderland. I don't know. It was great. It was
Thank
great.
you.
You
Thank
pulled it off. You pulled it off.
you. Well, I wanted to make my own spin. I didn't want to like, it's like, so I don't know, even though there's a lot of moving elements to it, but so yeah. So that's why I chose that one, and that's for my first book. So it was like this is basically my fairy tale. It's a really weird, strange fairy tale, but it everything I feel like you can get as strange as possible if you can justify it, and that's kind of what I did. So there's a lot of backstories, origin stories about the pants, and
That's great.
everything's connected. And I think because that kind of magically happened while I was writing the book, like a lot of those connections that like everything like oh wow
Good.
this makes that this that's what you write. Those are the wonderful things when the
Do you
creativity
ever
helps
you
you.
ever watch Rat Race?
Wait, Rat Race, what
Rat
was that,
Race,
a
the movie
movie?
Rat Race. Yeah, it
Yeah,
came
that
out
was
like
like
a long
yeah,
time
like the
ago.
yeah, I saw it.
Great, a whole bunch of great comedians got
Yeah, yeah,
together, and yeah, so it was a good
absolutely.
movie. But the ending of your book, and I don't want to give it away because in some way it just kind of reminded me of Rat Race. I'm not going to give it away, but I
Right.
was laughing my butt off. I loved the ending. The ending was it was just like this is too good. I could just see a movie coming out of it. Yeah, I'm waiting for the movie. Waiting for the movie. It's going to be
Yeah, it's a
great.
strange book. This is the book is like this. There was one award contest I did, the independent. I forget what it was called. Anyway, it's like the independent publishing. Oh, it was a big one, and but I didn't realize they rated you on the whole book, like your presentation and the
Oh
cover and
boy.
like everything. So it was, but they give you two judges, and then they let you read like what they wrote, and one was like I couldn't believe I loved this so much. And he was just like kind of like this is like I was like waiting to hate this, but I love like so it's this wonderful review. And then the other review was like, after reading 3 chapters, I just can't understand. I know comedy's subjective, but I can't understand how anyone could think this was funny. It's the same. So I was like, that's
I'm
incredible.
dying.
So
I'm
like that's
dying.
you
Yeah.
never know. You just like it's hard to know. Everyone's different. Everyone's different
It's either
stuff.
a love. They had either a love it or hate it kind of response, right?
Yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
just, and that's kind of great. You can't get mad at that. That's just like,
Wow.
cool. Like this, if you
I think
extreme,
it's great.
you talk about that in music, like if you can get extreme reactions, if people don't hate you, then you're probably not doing it right,
Not
music.
everybody's going to love what you do. They're just
No,
not.
but if you have people love you as well, then it's incredible. You're like, wow,
Uh,
like I'm getting people to love me. Like I'm okay. Like I hate things too that people love, like it's all good.
I want to show people what we've been talking about. Let's go on over. This is your your Instagram account. Listen,
Yeah.
you need to follow Daniel Eric
I
Finkel
don't
on
have that many
Instagram.
followers. I haven't been very good at
You
social media
you
until
need,
now.
yeah,
It's
okay.
like I
Hey,
started as an
what
author.
happened? What
I
happened
started
here? I thought I was
basically
following you.
promoting.
Okay. So
Yeah.
look, this is what we're talking about. Mr. Taffle's Pants of Insanity. This
Yeah.
is this is it right here. This is so cool. You've got some videos up. You've got just a few things. You've got some things on here. Yeah.
Welcome to Jam Rock, Damian Marley. Good jam.
Yeah.
I put that on there.
Look at that. There's your book in the bookstore. What a
Yeah,
good
look where
feeling.
it's
Isn't
next
that a
to.
great
Look,
feeling?
the book is Chuck Paula Chinook or whatever his name is.
Which
Look,
one?
look, yeah, that one right there. Well, no, don't worry. Go down a
Right.
little to the
Go
book.
down.
Yeah, that one. Look at that. Look where that's next to. That's the last bookstore.
Nice.
That's the guy that wrote
Nice.
Fight Club and many others.
Ah, isn't that awesome? What a
Yeah,
good
it's just
feeling to see
surreal
your book right there.
next
It
to.
is. It's a surreal
Yeah,
feeling.
that was one
Let's,
of the most surreal things I've ever seen, actually.
I want to send people over to you on audio books? Not
Yeah,
not yet, not here, but you are. I know you're on Spotify for a fact because that's where
no,
I listen
yeah,
to the book.
I'm on all of them now, almost the
Okay.
book. So
All
yeah,
right.
and I
So
would
yeah,
recommend if you want to listen to a great audiobook, it's just because the guy that
100%.
did it is
So I
really
don't think,
a
to be
performer.
honest, I don't know that I would have, because there's so much energy in this book. There's so much happening. And the acting, the audio acting was like phenomenal. It's just par
Yeah,
none.
I'm really
That
excited
you
for it.
you just felt, I felt like I was watching a movie in my brain. I really did. And I don't know that I would have had the same reaction if I would have just read it.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
saying
definitely
that you
experience.
shouldn't go get the book. Get the book if you're not into audiobook, but personally, I think it's one of those things you need to hear it. You need to hear the audiobook. That's my opinion, just my opinion. But yeah, Mr. Taffle's Pants of Insanity. Go check it out on Amazon. Of course, we're going to leave the links in the description to this video and you can go check them out there. But cool. I love the cover. We're going to show people the cover. I mean,
You know,
come
I
on.
I use that service Readsy to get the cover. Her name's Patricia Moffat, I think.
Patricia
She was
Moffat.
from, I think her
Okay.
last was that. It's so I'm terrible with names, but
I mean,
uh,
it's
I hired her.
psychedelic. You got
I
this
hired her a while
psychedelic
ago.
thing going on,
She was from
and it just
Wales.
makes you want to open the book. It's like, what? So I love
Yeah,
it. I love it. Yeah, we're gonna
I'm
leave
gonna
all
try
those
to.
links in the description.
I'm gonna try to keep the next book kind of. If I self-publish it, I'm definitely gonna try to keep with the similar type of cover to kind of because that's. I don't really have a lane, so I am my own lane. As big as
So
that sounds, headed that's it's like I don't have a genre really. It's like I'm like I have to be the genre
you
because
gonna
it's.
do some more rap songs to go with your next book and kind of do some of the same things you've been doing with Mr. Taffle's Pants?
I would love to. I just honestly, it has to. There has to be a momentum for it. I'm not just going to do it to do it. Like I said, there's only so much resources you can have. So, um, I might have to just, if I self-publish, I might have to just be a little more traditional about the publishing next or the promotion next time.
Promoting, kind of just go that traditional
Yeah,
route.
I don't know. I mean, I would love, I want to have someone like to get a publisher or a financial partner to be like, look what I just did. Look at what I've just set up. I can do this again. In fact, my next book is so ready for that. It's so
Just
sci-fi,
you're ready to go.
dark
Yeah.
and fun. Um, yeah, so that's why I'm doing, I should be doing a show in San Francisco that I just talked to you about. I'm going to get another one in LA. That's in the works. So that's definitely look out if you're in San Francisco and LA, probably this summer. Going to do some tours.
Are you gonna put all of that on your
Yeah, it'll be
on your
totally public.
Instagram? Okay,
Yeah,
so if you go on over to Daniel's Instagram account, then you can kind of follow him and keep track of all of the things he has going on. Yeah,
and possibly Portland
that
and
back
maybe
up there.
as well. So I'm
So
going to
right
try to
here.
establish it as much, get it as big as possible before, the whole cycle for the next one's ready, and then we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I definitely see a vision of doing this again on a bigger scale.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, you've got a good foundation going on. You've already started building up a following. You already have people that are interested in what you have going on. So it only stands to reason that the next one's probably going to pick up momentum. And I really think that first books are great launching pads for second books. I really believe that. And
Yeah.
so now people are kind of familiar with you. It's all it's going to do is get them more interested in even the first book because you have a second book. But I just want to remind people to go on over to your Instagram page so they can follow along, see everything that's going on. I mean, I'm looking at this and it's like, I wish I could have been there. That looks great. It looks like nothing but a good time. And just the video clips that I did get to
Yeah,
see, because I follow
that's
you
the
around on social
animation.
media. Yeah.
You can see the
It was
animation, my friend
it was
Jeremiah.
great. It was great. So,
Thank you.
but yeah. So marketing's fun, right?
Well, I
It's
guess,
work.
if you could think outside the box at all, that's there's because as we know, there's just so many people now that can get their book. It's great. We can all be authors and get our book out with self-publishing, but
Right.
it's also you got to be noticed somehow.
You do. You do.
You got
And
to
you
get
can't
your
be
book.
afraid. I think a lot of people are just afraid. They don't like to, you don't strike me as somebody who doesn't mind the spotlight, but some people really don't. They're not comfortable with even being on a podcast like this. It's so simple to do this, but some people are just not comfortable with it, or they like to
I'm
hide in
not
the
super
corner.
comfortable though. That's what's weird.
Really?
Like, well, I am
Ah,
now. I'm getting better at these. Like at first, I wasn't sure. Like I hadn't gone on tons of interviews before. Like I did this book.
really?
No, I
Ah,
mean, so I was just like, I've done a few things, but like, I mean, I've done little acting here and there. I'm not like an actor, but no, I didn't know what I could do. I mean, I've done those shows, so but I was nervous. I was kind of scared. And the reason I did it was almost not more of like, I want to do a show because I want to be a music star. It's almost like, okay, these things are happening. And if I kind of put it all together, this could be like a great mark.
the one. Yeah, this could be the
Like I was
thing.
like, this could be a great marketing, this music thing. That's why I'm
Yeah,
doing music. It's not out of like trying to make this musical statement. It really was. I'm like, I'll write these songs to like try to to market this book.
yeah.
That's the goal.
But you were
So
willing to try it. And I think there are some people who they don't want to step outside of the box. They're too afraid to step out. What will people think if I do that? And will it be a negative response instead of the response that I want? But you're not afraid. And that's so important. You're willing to think outside the box. I have guests
you
from
gotta
all
just
walks
jump
of
in.
life.
Just
I
jump in.
have guests from all walks of life, from different countries. I mean, we've had guests on here from South Africa. We've had them from Australia, from all over, and different genres, different genre books, different messages. And one thing that I do know that I can watch and see is when they're willing to put themselves out there, they have a better chance of selling their books, no matter where they come from or what their genre is. But they have to be willing to do it. You
Yeah.
can't be afraid, and you have to take every opportunity that comes your way. Well, maybe not every opportunity. Some opportunities are bad ones, but you
Yeah.
have to say yes. I mean, you just have to be willing to say yes. Otherwise, nobody's going to buy your books. Not going to happen.
Yeah, you just have to accept it if you really want to, if
Yeah.
that's your goal is to have people like check out your work and stuff, you have to
And it doesn't matter
know
if
that
it's
you're going to have to do
it,
it, and we all do. So if you can
listen, on
think,
my last podcast show that I had that show for 7 years, and I remember dedicating a season. I did a whole season to just visual artists. We had painters on there. I had people who did, pencil drawing. I had every kind of artist you can think of on there. And it all comes down to one thing. You have to get yourself out there. You can't just hang that painting up and put a price tag on it and think somebody's going to come along and buy it. They're not. People want the story behind that work. And I don't care if it's music, I don't care if it's art, I don't care if it's a book, whatever it is. And you're doing it. And that's why I wanted to have you back on today, because you're actually doing it. You're putting yourself out there, you're making yourself seen. And for a long time, people are going to remember you.
thank you. That's sweet. It's
Yeah.
so surreal when I hear like, like people like you say that. So I really
Well,
appreciate it.
I love it when you're here. I do. We always have a good time.
I
I know
appreciate
today was April 1st, April Fool's Day.
It was
And
perfect. That was the perfect day for me to
yeah, yeah.
fool. You're fool of the show. Folly.
I didn't even get to pull any pranks. So,
Well, you
but
did show up with a mask. That's why I thought I was
yeah,
like, is
so
this supposed to be in a costume? You sort of got me.
before we actually recorded today, I got on with this little mask on, and I don't know. That was my attempt at April Fool's, but I'm not very good at it.
It was good. It worked. I was like, I didn't know that's what was happening.
Well, proud to know you, Daniel. Thanks for
Thanks.
being on it, and thanks for talking to new or wannabe writers who are like, oh, I don't know what to do, and you're so inspiring. You're giving hope to people.
Uh, I
Inspiration.
that's just gravy. That's just beautiful. If I can help anybody else, that's just like that's such a great thing,
It
honestly.
is. It's a good feeling, isn't it? Feels
Yeah,
great.
of
But
course.
you're inspiring people. I know you inspire me. I watch what you're doing. I'm like, I want to do that. I want to turn something into energy. There's so much energy that you're putting out there
Well,
with your
you
book.
are. Look what you're doing. You
Yeah, yeah,
launched
yeah.
this awesome. I see your stuff all the time. Like,
Yeah.
you're really
It's a
going
lot of
for
work.
it.
We are. And
I
this,
respect you totally for doing this. I
oh,
know how much work it is, and you're doing a
thank
great
you.
job.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. But it's been fun. Like I said, I've gotten to meet authors from all around the world, and we are
Yeah.
growing. We are growing. I think the show is booked out for the next 2+ months. So
That's,
we're booked, and we're getting new authors all the time, and it's been fantastic. So much so, I think last time that you were on here, I was still recording out of my house, and I had to go rent some office space because I just couldn't get any work done at home, and I was recording all the time, and it was like I need a quiet space, so I had to go rent some space. But it's because,
oh,
and you were my first guest. You were my very first guest on this show, and it was because of somebody
awesome.
like you that said, "Well, I'm going to take a chance on this podcast," and we've gotten to grow together, and I think that's been pretty cool. Kind of
Awesome.
a
That's so
mutual
cool.
journey,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yay. A book, a book, a
a book.
book.
Yeah, which is going to come out hopefully by the end of the year. I'm writing that. I'm
Oh,
writing. That's how this whole thing got started. Was I'm writing a book. I'll show you the cover. A
a
book.
book.
You know why? That's the title, right?
I
That way,
forgot.
because when you're on an airplane and somebody says to you, "Oh, what are you reading?" Because everybody reads on an airplane. What are you reading? You could
A
say a
book.
book.
That's a good one. I like it.
Yeah, a book,
Yeah. I
right?
love it.
So,
I love it. I didn't get
anyway,
that last time. I don't think I understood it last time, but now I
now
completely
you
get
get
it.
it. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
with you on it. I'm
All
down. I think
right.
it's a great idea.
Yeah, it is. I love it. Anyway,
All
that's
right,
me
I'm
being
gonna
humble.
go
All right.
finish my book.
I'm excited. And when you get that done, you let us know. We're going to have you
Yeah.
back on. We're going to share your links in the descriptions. Hey, listen, everybody. Yeah, that's right. Mr. Taffle's Pants of
Buy it for
Insanity.
all your friends, your enemies, just
No,
random
it would make a
people.
great gift. It'd make a fantastic gift. All right, listen, everybody.
Yeah.
You've been listening to Daniel Eric Finkel, and he is the author of Mr. Taffle's Pants of Insanity. He's Daniel, it's been fun. It's been a real pleasure. It
Thank you so much.
always is. I love interacting with you. I love your energy. So make sure that you check out his books and you follow him on Instagram. We're going to leave his links in the description. You'll want to find out when he's got some upcoming events and if you can attend those. I don't care where you are, they're worth flying to. They should
Yeah,
fly out there, right?
fly in, make a
Yeah.
whole package. We should have a package vacation, a
Should,
taffle,
yes,
taffle.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you're
like
good.
it'd be like almost like a ride at Disneyland, only far less expensive.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Go check out Daniel's books. Daniel, thanks for being
All
here.
right.
As
Talk to you later.
always, everybody, I thank you so much for joining us on a book, and God bless.